Dr. Madhurima, am I audible, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we'll start around 4, 5, right?
Okay, sir.
4, 5, right? Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Ashani, අර
Yes, sir.
කාන්සන්න ආපහු ලින්ක් එක අහනවා මේ අශානි චුට්ටක් බලන්න ගෲප් එකට දාලා තියෙද්දි මේ ළමයිට තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ චුට්ටක් බලන්න අශානි
Okay, sir.
ලින්ක් එකම දාන්න අශානි now start අශානි
Okay, sir. Respected Dr. Madhurima Dasgupta, Academic Director and Head of the Department of Gender Studies and Social Studies, Ashadi Campus, Sri Lanka. Respected Dr.Avindu Disanayaka, Director, Ashadi Campus. Honorable lecturers, dear students and distinguished guests. A very warm and respectful welcome to you all. It is my great pleasure to welcome everyone to this special workshop session conducted in connection with the 4 Arts English Diploma organized under the Department of English, Ashadi Campus, Sri Lanka. We are deeply honored to have with us Dr. Madhurima Dasgupta, a respected academic leader and scholar whose expertise and dedication to education continue to inspire both students and fellow academics. We are truly grateful for your presence today and for your willingness to share your valuable knowledge and experience with our learners. I would also like to extend my sincere appreciation to Dr. Avindu Disanayaka, Director of Ashadi Campus, for his visionary leadership and continuous guidance in organizing meaningful academic programs that enhance student development. This workshop provides an excellent opportunity for our students to strengthen their language skills, broaden their academic perspectives, and gain practical insights that will support their academic and professional growth. Once again, I warmly welcome our distinguished guests, respected academics, and dear students. I wish you all a productive and enriching session. Over to you, Dr. Madhurima Dasgupta, ma'am.
First of all, a very good afternoon to our respected director, sir, Professor Dr. Avindu Disanayak, and especially for inviting me because my specialization is on gender studies and sociology. So today I will be speaking on a different aspect apart from my discipline, that is on academic English. And I'm also thankful to Ashani for such your kind introduction. So today my focus is mainly on how important is academic English and how effective it is for practical techniques, for effective means of communication. Now, first of all, like I want everyone to participate. Like, do you have any idea, like, why do we study academic English, or what exactly is academic English? Anyone, if anyone wants to say or share, what comes to your mind when you talk about the concept of academic English? Any idea what is academic English? You can unmute and tell me, or you can write in the chat box, whatever is feasible for you. Okay, so mainly academic English means where there is a formal objective and a particular precise language that the person who is speaking, or maybe the person who is writing, and that language is used in higher education, in academics, in research, in case of communication, your presentation skills, and even in academic publications like in essays, reports, journals, and even textbooks. So mainly, academic English is a formal, objective, and precise language. And it has been designed in such a way such that it makes any complex idea very simple. Not only that, it helps to analyze the information and communicate the technical knowledge. Technical knowledge meaning the knowledge which is difficult for us to understand. It simplifies the technical knowledge in a communicable manner very effectively, which is different from the everyday conversational English. Conversational English means the English which I am using as a form of conversation to communicate with others. So, academic English is actually a precise language that is used in academics, research, presentation, and academic publications, which is different from the everyday means of communication, communicative English that we are talking with. Now, what are the certain features or characteristics of academic English? As I already described, as I already defined, academic English has certain features. Everything has certain characteristics. So simultaneously, academic English also has certain features. The first and the most important feature is formality. When you are using academic English, maybe in writing or speaking, you do not use any colloquial language. No, we do not use that. We avoid colloquialism and contractions. Secondly, objectivity. Remember, because academic English is a precise language that focuses on data, on information, because data and information are needed for any kind of academic publication. So, since it focuses on information and data, that is why it is very objective. It is not very vast. It is very particular in its focus. What kind of information is needed? What kind of data is needed to analyze it? Thirdly, in terms of structure, academic English follows a very clear, organized, and logical structure. That means in every report, you have an introduction. You always introduce the topic, where you discussed about the background of the topic and the definition of the topic. After that comes the body part, where you give a vivid description about the topic, its different features, its aspects, its impact. And then comes the conclusion, where you conclude the topic with the future directions or maybe the future implications. So it goes in a very structured and systematic manner of introduction, body, and conclusion. Next one, a very important part is the vocabulary. Now, academic English uses very good vocabulary. That means technical, specialized, or domain-specific terminology terms, which is used in science or mathematics. Maybe there is a separate vocabulary for science and mathematics, and in academic English, the vocabulary is also separate. There are separate vocabulary for humanities and for natural sciences. And then we have hedging, Hedging, which means it uses cautious language to express probability. For example, suggest, indicates, possible. So these kinds of synonyms, or rather these kinds of phrases, are used to convey it to the audience. So these are some of the features of academic English. Now we all know, why do we study English? English is a global language. It is globally famous. We can talk in English within our country, across the countries. or if we visit to any country, English is the major means of communication apart from their specific local language. We all have a local language. My local language is Bengali. All of your local language is Sinhala. So English is something which helps us to bind. So what exactly is the role of English in global scientific communication? Just a brief history. I will not bore you. That is, with the rise of American and British research institutions, probably in the 20th century, it positioned English as the dominant academic language. So we are very thankful to the British and the American institutions of the 20th century, because of which now we can communicate through English as a global language. This was followed by the impact of international funding agencies like National Science Foundation and even the European Research Council, because of which we can write in English very well. So we can see that major scientific contributions and even conferences, definitely they always use English as the standard language for presentation and publication. In any conference, if I talk about a conference maybe in Sweden, a conference probably in Oxford, in Cambridge, you will find English is the medium of communication. It is always there. That is because English is a global language. It plays an important role historically and continues to play today. So what exactly is the importance of academic English? There are mainly four major importance. Why do we need to study academic English? Firstly, as I said, it helps in higher education success. Because English is a global language, if you try to write, speak in academic English and publish in English with good kinds of words, it will help you to succeed in your higher education. If you study masters, after that PhD or whatsoever. Secondly, academic English helps to improve your clarity and critical thinking. So if you publish in academic English, it will clarify some of the very complex concepts and help you to think critically about it. For example, if I give you the example of drug addiction. Drug addiction is a social problem. So when you're writing on drug addiction, you're thinking critically, what is drug addiction? What can be the impact of drug addiction? What are the age groups that are affected by drug addiction? And why is drug addiction rising? In which part of the country and in which regions? What are the reasons behind the increase in drug addiction? Clear? Third is, it is very essential for research, writing, and publication, which I already mentioned in the definition. When you're using academic English and when you're writing it, you will find that your publication is in a very smoother manner rather than your local language. Because then your publication can be available in all the countries, not only in your region or locality or your country, but your publication will be available across the countries. So if you want to publish in academic English, it will be available and anyone from any country, they can read it because everyone has access and can speak in English, being the global language. And then you have academic English helps to build professional and global communication skills. This I will teach you how it helps to develop your presentation skills. Because if you know academic English, it will help you to be prepared for the job market, which is very essential nowadays because every subject, I think every subject has its particular USP. It makes you job ready. So now, of course, coming to how job oriented is academic English. We know that as the global job market is becoming very competitive, isn't it? Every discipline is very competitive. If I talk about sociology, it is highly competitive. I'm not the only one, but there are innumerable candidates, innumerable teachers, professors who are competing to be in a particular position. Apart from teaching, if you talk about research, there are many scholars, many assistants who are competing to be in a particular level to acquire their PhD or to complete their research properly. So in every discipline, even if I talk about English, English has a vast scope, I would say. There is not only scope for teaching and research, there is also scope for content writing. There is also scope for media publishing house, where different, English writers are appointed and selected to publish there. So every discipline has a competitive job market. So as this competition is increasing, the demand for professional who can master English is also growing rapidly. Because if you are entering the job market, you should be extremely proficient in your English speaking skills. You should know how to talk in English, that too in a confident way. Sorry. So whether it's a position in IT, information technology, healthcare, maybe in hospitals, teaching in schools, college or universities or academia, proficiency in English is a major prerequisite, because the ability to communicate, now the fact that I'm communicate with you, how you're communicating, whether the listeners are listening to you or not, that will help an individual's ability to work with international colleagues. So the fact that I can talk in English properly, that is helping me to reach out to you as well, because you all are mostly are from the different country. So English is a medium that is connecting India and Sri Lanka. Okay, it also facilitates access to better job opportunities and career growth. So if you know English, your scope becomes vast. It's not limited. You can access any of the job prospect, not only teaching and research. If you want to become an actor, if you want to become a content creator, which is, very much on the rise nowadays, be it in YouTube, Facebook, if you know English, you can reach out to the global audience. Okay, so that is how job oriented is academic English becoming. So in the workplace, English proficiency is very important. Many companies, especially the MNCs, multinational companies, they seek those employees who can speak English very effectively. So speaking skills is very much essential, followed by reading, writing, and listening. So not only speaking, definitely public speaking is most important nowadays, but also reading. Here I always say that in most of my like the classes, reading is very essential. Every day you must read at least one paragraph. If you read, you gain more knowledge. If you listen, you gain more knowledge. There is this concept of art of listening, how well you are a listener, how much you can listen to a particular person talking, and then you understand and speak in your own way. For example, I just give you a scenario. For example, you go to a particular, maybe a trip. I think all of us love to go for trips. You go to a trip to a mountain area or maybe to a waterfall. What do you hear when you go to a mountain area or a waterfall? We hear different kinds of, very peace and serenity. For example, if you visit in a waterfall, we hear the birds chirping. Don't we feel very, peaceful? Many a times we find that, for example, in a particular waterfall, we have gone maybe 15 years back, 1-5. And we saw that the place was very peaceful. There was serenity of nature. Birds were chirping very nicely. After 15 years, if you again visit the place, if the noise is not the same like before 15 years, then what does it mean? Can anyone tell me? What does it mean? Why has the change occurred? Why is there a change? What you have heard 15 years back, if it's not the same after 15 years, why it is so? Anyone? Any one of you can say. Just unmute and tell me.
It changed.
No idea? Yes, please.
Changed.
Sorry?
Nature may be changed.
Yes. So how has that change taken place?
The things are changed time to time.
All right, good. So that means it has mainly changed because of global warming, because of air pollution, because of noise pollution. So that means when a man-made construction is intervening into the nature. So what you have heard 15 years before was a very serene, a kind of an atmosphere. But after 15 years, you do not hear the same thing in the same place. That means it is interrupted by global warming, pollution, be it air or noise pollution, or maybe water pollution. So that means it's a man-made problem. Nature is being disrupted by men. Social construction. Getting it? So herein lies the art of listening. How listening is also socially constructed. What we hear and how nature has changed because of these man-made problems. Because it is men only who has cut down trees, who has caused such global warming, such air pollution, such noise pollution. Okay. So other than speaking or reading or maybe writing, you also have to know the art of listening. Also, when you are reading, for example, if you're reading a newspaper, maybe when you are a teenager, you do not know what to read and what not. There is a particular column in every newspaper which is focused on the teenagers. So you are more encouraged to read those columns as compared to others. So you can focus on that column, but at the same time, you just go through the other columns in a very simple way to know what exactly is happening in our society. Clear? So this art of reading, art of listening. Then there is also art of writing. What you are writing, how it can be related. So when, for example, if any of you are writing any notes, maybe from this workshop or any of the classes, how you're writing? Either you're writing the main points or you're just jotting down whatever I'm saying. And then how you are trying to actually frame that particular write-up, that is also very essential. Clear? So this, all of these skills, these are used in academic English. So we can see that reading, speaking, writing, listening, everything has an art behind it, which is used in academic English. But most importantly, I would say public speaking or effective verbal communication not only helps individuals to express their emotions and thoughts, but also helps to build relationship. So when you're talking to others, if you have very good public speaking skills, you not only express your thoughts, but also you will find that when you're talking very nicely with a person, you become very jovial with the other person and they also feel very comfortable with you, isn't it? So that helps to maintain or build a new relationship in your life. We meet so many people, isn't it, in our everyday life nowadays, thanks to social media like Facebook, WhatsApp. We meet many unknown people also in Facebook. Maybe some people we meet, we gel very well with each other. When we start talking and they start talking, we build very good relationship, isn't it? So that helps to build our social relationship, which is very essential for our everyday knowledge. Maybe we get to learn something from them, from the relationship that we develop, and automatically advance our career needs.
Dr. Madhurima, am I audible?
Yes, yes, sir.
So I want to add some little memory. So also both of you are connected via Facebook, right?
Yes, sir. Yes. Very true.
Very till to date, yes. It's a very
Yes.
amazing connection, right? Yes.
Yes. Facebook is actually a very good networking site. It provides a platform for social capital, which has a sociological connotation as well. It provides a platform to link everyone. We know each other, though we have LinkedIn also, which is a professional platform for proper networking. But before LinkedIn, there was Facebook. So other than helping us to connect with each other, Facebook also helps in professional connections as well. Because I got to know about this university in Sri Lanka through Facebook itself. Thank you, sir. So next, coming to what are the reasons to learn English nowadays? Why do we have to actually learn it? First of all, we know that our society is becoming technologically driven. We have science and technology, isn't it? So English is the language used in science and technology. It has been adopted as the de facto universal language. Of course, it is used in every society, be it UK, USA, India, Sweden, Greenland, Iceland, Sri Lanka, everywhere. So as a result, scientists globally, they make use of the available scientific literature and communicate with the scientists of other regions through English. So English is a major communication. It helps to bind the scientists as well for proper development of science and technology. Clear? The second reason is, of course, education. It's a very known fact that English plays an important role in the field of education globally. It has also nowadays become a compulsion to learn English because most of the books of higher education, they are written in English. At the end of the day, it's a compulsion, like we have to know English. But rather than a compulsion, I would say that it is essential to learn English along with your local language. So English is used by the students as well as the teachers and researchers because it's the main medium used in various fields of education, where information is stored in the form of books, journals, everywhere. Recently, we had this international Kolkata book fair where I went and, my book was published. I published the book on understanding gender, meaning, concepts, and key theories. And it was published in English. And why did I do so? That is because so that the book can be read by readers, not only in my country, but in other countries. Because if I had published in Bengali, then maybe the readers would be limited only to my locality or my region, West Bengal. But since I published in English, it can be easily read by readers from every country. Clear? So as there have been rapid changes in the field of educational systems, students can make use of the resources available all over the world just by accessing the internet. Nowadays, we get everything when we access the internet. If you want something, we immediately book through Blinkit, Zepto, or whatever apps is available in your country. So we book it and we get it within maybe 10, 15, or 20 minutes. That is also the options are in English. You definitely have the options in your local language, but the major predominant language is in English, so that even everyone can access it. Thirdly, employment. One of the major advantages of learning English is that getting employment, as most of the job providers, they ask for the language skills, soft skills, whether you can speak well. And by speaking well, they mean that you need to know your English properly. Maybe they will ask you to introduce yourself. So for example, if you're introducing yourself, I'm just giving my example. Hi, I'm Dr. Madhurima Dasgupta. No, you cannot start like this. You have to say good afternoon, respected sir or ma'am. I am Dr. Madhurima Dasgupta, presently maybe, pursuing graduation, post-graduation, PhD, or presently I'm employed as an academic director in India, as well as the head of the Department of Gender Studies and Social Studies, Ashadi Wisdom Campus, Sri Lanka. So when you are speaking, you have to be very confident and you always have to greet the other person. If it's afternoon, then good afternoon. If it's evening, then good evening. If it's morning, then good morning, depending upon the time zone of your country. Okay, and you have to speak in a confident manner with a good tonal voice. So during the time of interviews, the interviewers test the candidates' communication skills along with their academic background. Definitely every one of us, we are very proficient. All of you are, I know, you have your particular academic background. But apart from them, that in the interview, the interviewers also judge your English speaking skills, how well you can speak. So they ask a simple question. Introduce yourself. Tell me about this particular thing that you mentioned in your CV. Maybe you mentioned in your academic credentials. So even if the candidate's educational qualifications are excellent, it can happen. The job providers focus mainly on their ability to express their ideas freely. So maybe I have very good academic credential. I have always been a topper, consistent topper from school to university. However, if I cannot talk in English and cannot introduce myself properly, I will get a negative mark by the interviewer. Okay. So as there are ample opportunities to work for the international organizations in the present global job market, everyone is trying to be in his or her best way to acquire the language skills in English. Because the job market is nowadays extremely competitive. So to be job ready, to be employed, you need to have good control over English as a speaking skill. Next is, of course, if you know English, it will help you to get scholarship from abroad. Because as I said, English is a global language. So if you're applying in any of the universities, maybe UK, USA, you need to know the speaking skills in English. You need not be very good in vocabulary, like you need to have very flowery language. No, you just need to know English properly and be confident in the way you are speaking. Many universities receive scholarship assistance from outside organizations, but the scholarship has bigger prerequisites. So if you want to enjoy this scholarship, students have to learn this foreign language while studying. And of course, if you are learning English, you need to be very self-confident. You need to have a good self-esteem and self-identity. And student self-confidence increases when they are mastering English. I'm very thankful to my school because I belong to a convent school, which taught me good teaching and talking prowess in English. Not only that, even in my university, one of my ex-supervisor, he also taught most of the students how to speak English through presentation skills. The way you're presenting to the others, that is also determining how well you are speaking. And maybe if you go wrong, how well you can improve that English. So confidence increases when we are speaking to others. And of course, in case of press and media, maybe in the field of press and media, English is again the primary language of communication because it is used in national and international media as well. The world leading newspapers and magazines, they are all printed in English, isn't it? Everything is printed in English. There are even some television channels. You must have heard about the TV channels like Discovery, National Geography, Animal Planet. You will find that the instructions or whatever the commentary goes on behind, it's in English. Even the cricket matches that we see, it's mostly in English, but many a times in the it might be translated to the local language. So there's a lot of impact of the media and the press as the young generation learners of English, and most of them follow these English channels to improve their language skills. Even children can pick the English language very fast. You will find that nowadays small children, they do not learn from their parents. From where do they learn? YouTube. They watch those YouTube channels, the different comics, the different cartoons in the YouTube. They try to follow them and then they inculcate and try to act out in their specific manner. Okay, so most of the time, even though if anyone is from a Bengali family, you will find that when they're talking to others, they're talking in English because that is what they are learning from their comics, from their cartoons, everywhere. I think many of you remember about the cartoon Chota Bheem, which was showed in Cartoon Network. Chota Bheem, which was it had a muscular body. Chota Bheem taught all the boys to fight, to punch. So that is how small boys also learned how to fight, how to punch. Then we had these cartoons like Doraemon, Shin-chan. The way they used to, manipulate their voice and speak to their partners. Even many of the small girls, they learned from these and they also started manipulating their voice to speak to their parents. But their parents were flabbergasted. They were kind of surprised, like, how are you using such voice? So they learn it mainly from these cartoons. Okay. Of course, English opens new career opportunities. If you learn English, you will be a step forward for career opportunities. So if you master English, it will be easier for you to get a better career because many companies, they look for employees who can speak English and communicate very well. You can become a professional English translator, language teacher, or marketing for a global company. Nowadays, English translators also have very good job prospects. So if you know English, you can easily translate it properly. You can be enrolled into the job prospect of an English translator or maybe a language teacher. We also have a linguist, Linguistic. Linguistic meaning one who has proficiency in language. So if you know English well, you can be an English linguistic teacher or maybe can help in marketing for a global company. Now comes the publication part. How academic English helps in research publication. Of course, there is a particular structure. Remember, I talked about that. One of the major features of academic English that it follows a structure. And what is the structure? It has an introduction, body, and conclusion. Firstly, coming to introduction, where you provide the background information for the reader. So, for example, if I'm working on crime against women, so in the introduction part, I give a background study. How crime against women have taken place historically. Okay, how it has evolved throughout the years. And what do we mean by crime against women? Then you state the statement, the major argument why you are actually studying crime against women and what types of crime you are referring to. Clear? And then you outline how the essay or the report will actually achieve this purpose. Second comes your body part, where you organize the major points in a logical sequence, thematically. If I'm working on crime against women, probably in Kolkata, so under the body part, I will mainly focus on which part of Kolkata. If it's North Kolkata, South Kolkata, East Kolkata, or West Kolkata. Which part? And why is crime increasing in one part and not in the other part? And what are the reasons behind it? Are there any rackets involved? Any political interests involved? So in the body part, you have to start with a clear topic sentence that makes a specific point. And each topic sentence will be supported with evidence from your research, like data, quotations, example. You have to give examples. In this part, this has been seen. In this part of Kolkata, or maybe this part of India, this has been observed. So automatically, this part of Kolkata can also get the idea from Indian situation. Okay. And finally comes the conclusion, where you restate it in different words. You conclude it. You summarize the major points, whatever you have discussed in your introduction and body. So you summarize it and you end with a closing thought or suggestion for future research. You're ending it with a closing thought that yes, this is the future direction of crime against women. It needs to be curtailed. It needs to be controlled. We need more strict implementation of law and order, because law and order, even if it exists in favor of women, it is hardly implemented. But please don't provide any new information in the conclusion. No. That new information will go in the introduction, but not in the conclusion. Conclusion is mainly for a summary of your topic. Okay, now there are certain structure for reports as well, like you have an abstract, which is a brief summary of the entire report's content, executive summary, which we call it in business reports. You are summarizing what you have written in the report and you're writing in a small paragraph in your abstract, which is always before the introduction. This is followed by table of contents like introduction, body, conclusion, and then the page numbers of each. Followed by methodology, a section which explains the methods used to conduct research. What method you have used? Mostly in academic English, you use the secondary data, content analysis. Probably you read 2 or 3 books and then you summarize the content in your own words. Or maybe if you are doing a film review, so maybe you watch 2 or 3 films, you take the major content, what you would like to discuss, and then you write it down. Okay. So thematically, you can use the subheadings. Reports frequently use subheadings to organize information. And another important part is visuals. Nowadays, visuals are very important. You cannot just, gather information and write, because no people has time for, reading so much. So in that way, you can give certain pictorial diagrams. You can give graphs. You can give tables. Okay, so graphs and tables, any kind of statistical representation, you can give, pie chart, bar graph, which will give you a pictorial representation, how crime against women has increased, maybe 15 years back, and how it is now after 15 years. Okay, so that goes the sequence for reports. And next comes referencing and how to avoid plagiarism. Now, I hope you know what is plagiarism. For example, if you're working on crime against women in your particular region in Sri Lanka, or maybe you search in the internet, you completely copy and you paste the exact thing in your report. No, that is wrong. If you do that, you need to give proper citation from which author's book or article you have taken it. Or you have to write it in your own words. So if you're copying and pasting it, and then you're submitting it for plagiarism check, it will immediately plagiarize your content. So to avoid plagiarism, you must cite all the sources. And there are certain kind of format for citation. Every journal, every article has certain format. Author's surname, comma, author's name, comma, then you have the name of the article, comma, name of the book or the PDF from where you have taken. Next, the name of the publisher, and then the link from where you have taken the article. Getting it? But when you are using it within the text, like in the introduction, for example, you write crime against women has increased to an extent in this part of Sri Lanka. So after that, you have to write in bracket, that is known as in-text citation, IN hyphen, in-text citation, author's surname, comma, the year of publication. I repeat, author's surname, comma, year of publication. So for example, my surname is Dasgupta, Madhurima Dasgupta. So my surname is Dasgupta. So if you're citing my article, within the bracket, you have to write Dasgupta, comma, maybe the year 2025 or 26, close bracket. And if you give those in-text citations for each paragraph followed by bibliography or references, then your plagiarism can be avoided. Nowadays, we also have this AI software. We take so many things from AI. There is a particular software which even detects the plagiarism of AI. So in that case also, you have to give the citation of AI, or maybe you can write it in your own words. So everything has to be accompanied by a citation. If you give a direct quotation, you have to cite, or if you do not give, you can paraphrase those ideas in your own words, so that it's ensured that both the methods are equally accompanied by a citation. So what are certain practices to avoid plagiarism? First is, of course, paraphrasing and summarizing. As I say, restate the author's ideas in your own, write in your own words. Next is use quotation marks. If you are completely copying and pasting, put it in, double quotation. Okay, or in the form of in-text citation, which the example which I gave, Dasgupta, comma, the year. Third is cite all sources. Give credit for any words, ideas, data, arguments that you have taken. That is not your own, you have to cite it. Next is maintain a reference list. That means after conclusion, you have to write references or bibliography where you have to follow certain format. There are specific formats for every journal. There is a format which is known as Modern Language Association, that is MLA. There is also another format known as APA, American Psychological Association. Every format, all of these comes with a particular format, where you have author's surname, comma, author's name, comma, then name of the article, comma, name of the book or PDF from where you have taken, comma, name of the publisher, comma, year of publication, then the link from where you have taken. Okay, and then make detailed notes. Record the author, title, publication date, and page numbers for every source to make referencing easier. Next is another important part is using footnotes or endnotes. So for example, in the body part, you have copied a text from a particular author's book and you have completely cited it. So beneath that, you have to give the footnote. I have cited from such and such article. Maybe as a superscript, number 1 there. So automatically number 1 here at the beneath, like at the bottom of the page, such and such articles cited from there. So these are footnotes. You can either include footnotes or endnotes. Endnotes come after conclusion and before references. Okay. And of course, follow a particular citation style, which I already said, APA, MLA, or Chicago style. Every style has a different format, and it has to be specified when you're writing the reference. And of course, be consistent. Use a single referencing style throughout your work. So maybe, you have written an article where you are using both Chicago style as well as APA. No, that is not done. You have to stick to any one style and use that in your particular format. Okay. Now that goes for the research part. When you're publishing, how you will avoid plagiarism, what kind of citations are necessary. Now coming to a very interesting part, that is communication. What are the practical techniques for effective communication? Of course, when you're communicating with others, remember I talked about reading and listening. So first is you have to read very widely. So if you want to publish anything, you have to read the academic papers. Of course, good journals. Good journals from sites like ResearchGate, academia.edu, Sage, Springer, Taylor and Francis Online. These are very reputed publishing houses. and contemporary literature, which is very much related to your work. So if I'm working on crime against women in Kolkata, I have to read literature related to my work on crime against women in Kolkata. Second is highlight the key phrases. So when you're reading, don't read abstractly. Highlight the major phrases which you think is important and you can include it in your article. So you highlight it, the lines, the phrases, the concepts. Next is listen actively. You always have to pay attention to any lecture discussion. Now that you are having a discussion with me, you are listening to it, how you are going to write a paper, how you are going to listen to understand the different accents of academic speech so that you can understand it. So if you don't understand, you have the right to ask me anytime or ask anyone whom you are listening to. For example, if you are talking to your friends, or maybe you have a fight with your friend, and out of anger you speak like you forget what you are speaking and you don't have any control over it. So that means the other person who was listening to you, they were completely harassed listening to your anger. Getting it? So you have to be very careful while interacting with others, especially if you're interacting with your colleagues, with your workmates, with someone who is senior to you, and even with your family, I would say. And of course, you need to practice transcription, transcribing, TRANSCRIBING. You need to write down what you hear. So for example, if I am working on crime against women in Kolkata, I probably visit a place where I find that in a particular locality, women are extremely verbally abused or physically abused by their husband. So when I go there, I stay there for 4 or 5 hours, and I find that the husband is very, verbally abusive with his wife. Like, why are you not doing this? Why are you not following my instructions? You should just cook now. So I observe him. I observe and I write down his behavior. Definitely with the consent, so that it will help to improve your ability to capture the spoken language and improve both listening and writing skills. So when you're listening to that, you're writing it down, you're having a very good ability to listen and to write down as well, because it's complete primary data of crime against women that you are observing. Okay, so that is one of the effective means of communication. Next comes speaking and writing. So I would say you should start practice speaking. Now, from here, I just want to know how many of you love to, speak to others, or maybe you love to have presentation skills. How many of you? Anyone who loves to present themselves to others? Or maybe love to talk a lot, probably in discussions, in debates. Anyone else?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so yeah, very good. Now you see, when I was a child, I was a very introvert girl. I never used to talk to others. I was, I didn't even know how to socialize with others. So whenever my parents used to take me to family gatherings, I was the one who used to sit still in a particular corner. And I used to love nature, admiring nature. But later on, when I came to university, then I understood the importance of presentation skill and how effective it is to speak to others. So if you know how to speak to others, you can gel with any discussion. You can participate in any discussion. Because even if you participate in any discussion, be it with your friends or families or cousins or anyone, it will help you to improve your fluency, your confidence, and of course, your pronunciation. So I would say, just a request that you can start practice speaking, public speaking, with anyone you love to. Not only that, I know that speaking is not always practice for everyone, especially for introverts who do not like to speak much to people, because I was an introvert during my childhood. But at least sometimes you can speak to the person whom you're closest with. You're opening your heart out, then you can understand how well you can speak to others. Second is writing regularly. If you write your essays, summaries, research notes to build your, writing skills, then automatically you will have a grasp over your vocabulary. For example, if I say every day, before going to sleep, you write down 10 positive things that you have done. Okay, just I'm saying, you just write down the 10 positive things which I have done throughout the day. You will find that when you're writing, firstly, in first few days, maybe you will be a bit confused, like, what do I write? I'm not getting any such positive thing which I have done today. Maybe 5 I have got, the remaining 5 I am not being able to remember. But later on, after 5 days, when you're writing, you automatically get hold of it. Yes, I have done this and this. Even spending time with your family is a positive thing. Even seeing your parents hale and hearty, it is a positive thing, especially in this today's world where there is so much negativity around. Getting it? So when you're writing, again, in English, your writing skills improve. You get hold of vocabulary. Third is get feedback. So if you get feedback on your writing and speaking skills. So for example, today I'm teaching you a particular topic and you give me feedback. Based on the feedback, I can improve my teaching skills as well. So if you're speaking or maybe you're writing and you show to the other person how well I have written, maybe they can provide both positive and negative feedback. You should not be demoralized if you get a negative feedback. You should take it as a form of a challenge and as a lesson to improve it for future. So feedback is essential. Remember, whenever we buy something, maybe online or offline, we always try to provide a feedback. If you're not at all satisfied, maybe we have tried to buy a particular dress from Amazon, but instead of the dress, we got something else. We get very pissed off. So immediately what we do, we search for the customer care. We just call the customer care and we thrash out our anger over them. So that is a feedback of us to them. Okay, so instead of that thrashing out, if you speak in an indirect way, like, I was supposed to receive this order and I received a different order, so kindly arranged the reorder and the refund as soon as possible. So feedback is very essential. And then you have focus on fluency. So when you're practicing, maybe you're speaking as a form of practice, you should focus on getting your ideas across fluently. So maybe you're practicing, you're speaking to others, and then you realize, yeah, these are some of the ways maybe I have got wrong, or maybe the other listener says, you're not talking in, the way you're talking, it does not convey the same thing the way you used to talk to me before. So then you can improve on that fluency and then you can refine your grammar later. Or maybe if someone is a grammar Nazi, very good in grammar, and they will try to improve you. No, you're not speaking in this way. This will be in a different way. Okay, so that is how the speaking and writing skills are developed in effective communication. And of course, for vocabulary and tools, you can improve your vocabulary, actively learn new ideas and phrases. That can also be done through reading, through speaking. So when you're speaking to others, maybe you hear a new word and you immediately try to find out, oh, she spoke a new word. Let me find it out. Let me Google it. Okay, it means this. So we learn also not only from reading, but also from communication with others. Then using flashcards. There are certain apps like Memrise, Quizlet, which creates and reviews vocabulary flashcards. So we can learn from these flashcards as well. Now we have different apps thanks to AI. Then, of course, we can incorporate new language. We make a conscious effort to use the new phrases we use in our own speaking and writing to help remember them. So that is how you brush up your vocabulary skills. And finally comes your presentation skills and research communication. As you know, as I already said, presentation is the prima facie, how you are talking to others, how you are presenting yourself. So for example, today I had a lecture with you. If I had worn my, everyday dress that I wear in my house, what kind of image it would have conveyed to you? That I'm very casual in my lecture. No, I need to be in a particular outfit. I need to be properly decked up. And when I'm talking to you, I need to be confident in whatever I'm speaking. So presentation skills not only has to do with speaking, but the confidence and your entire getup. So it means the abilities that allows a person to effectively convey information and ideas to an audience using verbal, that means language, non-verbal meaning I'm using my hands. Non-verbal also means when probably you are trying to give a feedback through thumbs up or maybe emoticons or smileys kind of. If you like my discussion, then it will be a smiley. If you do not like, then it will be down. Okay, so presentation skills can also use verbal, non-verbal, and visual techniques. Visual techniques meaning, for example, through PPT, I'm trying to explain it to you. Or maybe I give you a particular picture, which I will be giving you at the end of the class. Getting it? So research communication is the specific application of the presentation skills to share research findings and discoveries with others. So for example, if I discuss about the PhD research, which I have done with you, and I communicate to you, that is my research communication. And if you have mastered over both presentation and research communication, then that will involve clear communication, effective visual aids. We are using different pictures or videos to show it, and catering to the message to the specific audience. What they want to understand, I try to make it explain in such a simple way such that they understand it very well. So in this class, if I use very, huge, heavy jargons, that means you cannot understand anything. But if I try to simplify it in a very easy, simple way, simple English, definitely it will be easier and more understandable for you to understand. So for presentation skills, the major requisites are, first is clear communication. You have to communicate in a very clear manner so that it's loud, clear, with proper clarity. Second is you have to engage in delivery. Your voice tone is very important. For example, in this lecture, if I start just reading whatever is given, for example, I say that clear communication, the ability to express thoughts in a way that is easily understood by the audience. Second one, engaging delivery. Would you find it engaging? No, definitely not. So your means of presentation, vocal tone is very, very important. Followed by the fact that you are not reading completely. Definitely you're reading some portions, but then you're giving everyday examples to make you understand in an easier way. Your enthusiasm. Remember, when I'm teaching you, I'm very enthusiastic about the lecture that I'm delivering. Storytelling, very, very important. Nowadays, storytelling is the most important focus in presentation. So remember, when I'm talking to you, I'm giving examples of my research, of an example of crime against women, maybe drug addiction, the different examples that I'm giving, so that you all can relate to in your everyday life. Third is effective visuals, using different pictures. When I teach in my class, I use different pictures, different videos, I use short films so that my students become more engaged in class, so that they get a clear idea about what exactly I have taught and how those short films can be related to the class which I have taught. Next is confident body language. When you're talking to others, your body language has to be confident. So if I'm teaching you, and for example, I'm sitting in a very clumsy way and I'm just reading, that means it shows that I'm not at all confident in my body language. I'm losing my confidence. But when I'm sitting straight and I'm conveying it to you, I'm maintaining a particular eye contact, which is again essential in the presentation skill, and using appropriate gestures and posture. Because your gesture, your posture, your eye contact, all of these are prima facie to project your confidence to others, to the audience. And finally, a particular structure. Just conveying information, blabbering information is not the forte. You have to organize the information logically using a narrative approach to make the presentation very easy to flow for all of you. So if you have these skills, I'm sure you can have very good presentation skills in your everyday life. And for research communication, the major requisites are, of course, every research communication must have a purpose. The goal is to clearly share your research findings. So for example, my PhD research is on construction of masculinity among the schoolboys of Kolkata. How masculinity or boyhood is constructed among the schoolboys of Kolkata. So it has a particular finding I have found out through research. I have gone to the school, I have talked to the boys, I have written down the notes, and then I have analyzed it. So my goal is to summarize those research findings, what you have found out, and what is new in it, which is very essential for the research community in academics. So every research has a purpose. Secondly, awareness of audience. Audience must be aware about it. So you would provide more background to a general audience than you would to a group of specialists. So maybe you all don't know about what is masculinity. So my task as a researcher to give you an introduction about what exactly is masculinity and what I am trying to find out in my research, so that you can understand what is masculinity and how it is related with the high school boys of Kolkata. Next is conversion of data. One of the major part of research communication is converting very complex data into understandable insights. So for example, if I interviewed the school boys of Kolkata, they are huge in number, maybe 50 or 100. But when I'm writing it down, I'm jotting it and summarizing it. I'm focusing, highlighting on the main part. So maybe most of the boys, they think that their boyhood is practiced or maybe developed through playing cricket, or maybe discussing about sports, or maybe if they have a macho body, and I highlight those parts. So I'm converting those complex data which I used into understandable insights for all of you. And finally, handling questions. Remember, effective research presenters can handle questions with confidence. So if I have done my research in a very effective way, done all the data collection analysis, if anyone questions me anything, I can easily answer it with confidence and diplomacy. You have to be very diplomatic. You cannot just say that, no, I don't know, like I went to the field, but they did not answer these questions. You cannot say that. You have to be very diplomatic. Yes, I have done this part. However, there are certain limitations to my research also. Since I have collected data from the school boys in the urban areas of Kolkata, maybe I haven't focused on the rural areas. So every research communication has a purpose, has an audience, requires conversion of data, and it knows how to handle questions effectively and strategically. So finally, how you can improve your presentation skills? First and the most important aspect is you need to practice. As I said during my lecture, you have to rehearse your presentation in front of your friends, just normal communication. I'm not telling you like you learn a topic and you say, listen, your friend will be very bored. You suddenly ask your family member or your friend, you listen, I'm going to tell you a particular topic. They will say that, no, I don't have time. I'm not interested. Just normally conversation. Maybe you're conversing with your friends. You're trying to prove your point. You just speak your point in English. So that is also kind of rehearsal in front of your family, friends, or colleagues. And it will help you to build confidence and get proper feedback. And based on the positive and negative feedback, you can definitely improve yourself. Secondly, know your material. So thorough research, if you do your research thoroughly and consistently, you can organize your entire information and jot it down in certain key points before you start preparing the presentation. So for example, before preparing the presentation to all of you, I definitely jotted these points so that when I make you understand, you can understand it properly. Thirdly, using visuals like slides, graphics, pictures, using modern tools, maybe some kind of images. So if you are trying to explain about masculinity among the schoolboys, you are showing the image of a schoolboy in a particular school. Maybe he is bullied by his friends. You're trying to showcase that. Clear? Next, very important, be confident. Whatever you are speaking, whenever you're presenting to others, your voice must convey the fact that you are confident in whatever you're speaking. Confidence is the key to presentation. Public speaking with confidence gives positive vibes to the audience. And of course, you have to focus on the audience. You have to focus on what kind of audience you're referring to. Definitely, since all of you are students, I cannot talk here about the theories of academic English. It will be very boring for all of you. Had I talked about only the theories, you would have all slept. So the language has to be tailored in such a way such that it caters the audience's knowledge and interests. So that is how you can, improve the presentation skills through practice by knowing your material, then using your visuals, maybe images or videos, by being confident, and of course, catering to the audience that you are referring to. So here is finally a picture that I give to all of you. Can you tell me what you can decipher from this picture? Anyone? what you can decipher? Anyone? What does this picture show? Anyone can unmute and tell me.
Step
Yes.
profess presentation skill.
Okay. Yes. Anyone else?
Confident speaking
About
process.
Okay, so that means this picture actually shows the 7-step process for presentation skills. What are the very 7 steps to actually develop your presentation skill? First and the most important step is high-level skills assessment. So that means when you're presenting something, you need to know your topic well. You need to read and understand it well. And you have to inculcate in such a manner such that it is, when you're speaking out, it has to be in a very easier way. Second is clarifying purpose. Remember, whenever you're speaking a topic, every topic has a purpose. You cannot just speak on and on a particular topic, then nobody will be interested. Firstly, when you're presenting, you're greeting the person, then you're talking about the purpose of your topic. This is the major purpose. Remember, in the beginning of the lecture, I defined what is academic English. My major focus was defining and then the practical techniques for effective communication. So clarifying the purpose. Third is establishing the overarching message. What message is there in your presentation skill that the audience can understand? Fourth is gathering the message components. What are the different points that the listeners can note down when they are listening to my presentation, gathering it. Fifth is illustrating and sequencing. Then trying to understand those points and sequencing it, what comes after the other. Eventually, when you try to note it down and then you speak, you can illustrate and sequence the points one after the other. Next is rehearsing and polishing. Then you start practicing, maybe in front of your mirror, or maybe, while normally talking to your family or friends. So that will automatically help you to polish your presentation skills. And finally, after that mock presentation, you finally go to the main stage as a presenter, and then you present yourself with confidence, with grace, with good vocal tone, with proper eye contact, and having a kind of a posture and gesture that shows that you're confident in whatever you are presenting to the world. So these are the 7-step process for proper presentation skills in academic English. So I can conclude by saying that English is an international language, which most of you know. So mastering English is very important at a time when we are all competing in the era of globalization. We are all connected globally. So English plays an important role for people, definitely for people where we cannot ignore the language of English. Because in the bright future, it helps us to connect in a global world, in a personal and professional life. So though learning English can be challenging and time consuming, we can say that it is very valuable to learn, and because English as a global language creates many new opportunities, as I said, not only in academics, teaching and research, but also in other arenas, content writer, media publishing house, and many other spaces as well. So wherever you go, whichever field you work, you have to communicate in English. So by this, I would like to conclude my today's session on academic English. My sincere gratitude to respected Director Sir, Professor Dr. Avindu Sanayak, to Ashani ma'am, and also to all the participants and all my students for their patient listening. Thank you, everyone. If anyone has any doubts, any questions, anything, please, the forum is open.
We now invite our dear participants to share their feedback and raise any questions they may have.
Excuse me, can I get my chance?
Surely.
I am Shahar Rashmika, a student of the Department of English, Ashadi Wisdom Campus, Sri Lanka, and I am grateful for this wonderful learning opportunity. Dear Ma'am, Professor Dr. Madhurima Dasgupta, thank you very much for today's special workshop session conducted for the Four Hearts English Diploma under the guidance of Dr. Avindu. The session was truly informative and inspiring, and it helped us gain valuable and knowledge and confidence in our studies. I sincerely appreciate the effort you took to share your expertise with us. Thank you very much again, Dr. Madhurima Das Gupta and Dr. Kayal Mitra, Avindu sir, Ashani miss, Ajani miss, and all the participants. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shehani Rashmika. That was very sweet and very kind of acknowledgement for me. Thank you so much. Any other questions from anyone? Any observation?
Excuse me, Miss.
Sure.
Are you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
I'm happy to meet you. And I think your lesson is today success because your examples and actions are amazing. It helped us understand clearly today lesson. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Shyamilhani. Thanks a lot for this feedback. Thank you.
Excuse me.
Hello,
Yeah.
ma'am. How are you, ma'am? Good evening.
I'm fine. Hope you're doing fine.
Nice to meet you, ma'am. And I'm joined this class with my work, but I'm so lucky I joined it. Especially, I learned something. I hope I have to learn more. I take more information. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, your visit. Uh, I want to meet you again. I hope I want to share. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you so
ma'am.
much, Jayanti ma'am.
I thank my teacher and coordinator, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yes,
you
Excuse
so much, Jayanti,
me.
for such a
you can definitely join Jayanti at your graduation. No, Dr. Madhurima?
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Okay,
Excuse
okay.
Can I?
Yeah, surely.
Um, Today's session is very amazing. Use me study these presentation skills about this presentation and publishing books and this all that things are very useful to me, and I hope useful to others also, I think. And thank you to all.
Thank you so
And
much, Muhammad Nazmi. It's a pleasure.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello, how
Nice
are
to
you?
meet you.
Same here.
Everything clear. The presentation was nice and clear. Once again, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Hasagana there, Mika. Thanks a lot. It's lovely to meet all of you virtually. Hope someday we'll meet physically as well.
Respected Dr. Madhurima Dasgupta, Academic Director and Head of the Department of Gender Studies and Social Studies, distinguished guests, respected lecturers, dear students, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great respect and sincere gratitude that I extend our heartfelt thanks to Dr. Madhurima Dasgupta for conducting an insightful and inspiring workshop session related to the 4 Arts English Diploma organized under the Department of English, Ashadi Wisdom Campus, Sri Lanka. Your scholarly expertise, academic depth, and engaging delivery added immense value to this session. The way you connected interdisciplinary perspectives with language learning greatly enriched the academic experience of our students. Your guidance not only enhanced their subject knowledge but also motivated them to think critically, confidently, and creatively. On behalf of Ashadi Wisdom Campus, the Department of English, and especially Dr. Avindu Disanayaka, we deeply appreciate your commitment, time, and dedication in sharing your knowledge with our learners. Your contribution has undoubtedly strengthened the academic quality of the 4 Arts English Diploma program. We are truly honored to have your continued support and academic leadership in our institutional journey. We look forward to many more such enriching collaborations in the future. Once again, thank you, Dr. Madhurima Dasgupta, for making this workshop session a meaningful and memorable one. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ashani ma'am. That was really very sweet, and I would say you're doing a great work. Your anchoring skills are extremely appreciative. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much, Miss Ashani, for the great vote of thanks. So, yes, Dr. Madhurima Dasgupta, Academic Director, India, and Head of the Department of Gender Studies and Social Studies, Ashadi Wisdom Campus, Sri Lanka. So, on behalf of Ashadi Wisdom Campus, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to you for conducting today's insightful workshop session on academic English. Your clear explanations, practical guidance, and engaging teaching style greatly benefited our students and enhanced their academic skill as well. So we truly appreciate your valuable time, dedication, and continuous support to our academic community, especially our gender studies department as well. You made it and you go through it, right? Thank you very much for the such wonderful sessions, always as previous. So I think you are the my dear, all the students, please introduce. This is our Indian strength, right? This is our Indian strength, and this is our academic director in India to Ashadi Wisdom Campus as well. So thank you very much, Professor Dr. Madhurima, for that kind of amazing sessions. Hope to connect you with another future upcoming sessions as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, sir. I'm extremely deeply honored, touched, and blessed, and also acknowledged to you as my respected director, sir, who has always guided me, supported me, and motivated me to do well in my academic endeavors. And this was a different aspect apart from sociology. So thank you very much, sir, for this opportunity. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for all the participants as well. Thank you very much again. Yes. And then another announcement is now Ashani is sending your today's Google form. Please fill it, right? Miss Ashani, please send it to the Zoom chat box, right? Yes.
Okay, sir.
So now you can fill it via Zoom chat box. Okay, Miss Ashani, we will wind up the session. Thank you very much, all.